Today, with Vastpoint, we stand as a global full-service impact company, delivering integrated land administration and tax solutions across Africa, Asia, and Latin America. Land title programs open up access to credit, particularly in areas where we work for smallholder farmers and rural households. And this unlocks capital for inputs like seeds, fertilizer, and equipment. In parallel, innovations such as remote sensing and AI allow us to offer farmer insights on yield optimization and climate resilience. We support these ecosystems, not just through technology, but through enabling access, capacity building, and inclusion. We're not only about systems and platforms, we're enabling transformation.
Hello and welcome to Horizons, the World Geospatial Industry podcast. Our guest today is Willy Govender, CEO of Vastpoint. Willy, thank you so much for finding this time. Welcome on board for this conversation.
Nice to be here.
Willy, from Data World to Terra Analytics, Terra Vital to Vastpoint now, great contributions over 35 years to the African and global geospatial industries. For the benefit of our viewers, can you help us understand the transformation of the companies you founded and the roles you have taken on?
My journey in the geospatial industry now spans over 4 decades,
Wow.
rooted in a deep passion for leveraging spatial technologies and solving real-world problems. It began in the 90s with Data World. We focused a lot on geospatial data development, mostly for the local governments. Over time, this evolved into Terra Analytics, where we pioneered innovative approaches in property taxation and also in the telecommunications world using spatial intelligence. Today, with Vastpoint, we stand as a global full-service impact company, delivering integrated land administration and tax solutions across Africa, Asia, and Latin America. Each transformation has been driven by a desire to push boundaries, meet the local needs with global technologies, and ultimately unlock land and transform lives.
Fantastic journey, I should say. Now,
Yeah.
focusing on the land administration aspect, that's something even close to my heart too. But experts believe that a good land administration system is foundational for the economic development of a state or a country. You have been championing the cause of sustainable land administrations for decades now. And what are your beliefs, core beliefs around this concept?
Definitely, land is the foundation of all social economic development. Throughout history, land has been a source of conflict, but when managed properly, it becomes a powerful tool for peace, stability, and growth. So in all the thriving economies, robust land administration systems underpin good land use planning, land tenure security, and also economic participation through land-backed finance. Geospatial technologies are central to this transformation, enabling accurate mapping, transparent data management, and secure land records. At Vastpoint, we use these tools not in isolation, but part of an integrated and locally relevant system that empowers governments and communities alike.
How does the economic dynamic change when a low or middle income country stays, say, for instance, in Africa, Middle East, India, or Latin America, the regions of Vastpoint is very active in? When such a country or when such a state embraces a land administration system, what is your observations around how the economic dynamic is changing in these countries?
Because we're at the base level of land administration, I think the evidence is still emerging. We're at the stage where you're implementing a land administration. The economic empowerment comes after that, especially post-COVID. But the early signs are encouraging. Land title programs open up access to credit, particularly in areas where we work for smallholder farmers and rural households. And this unlocks capital for inputs like seeds, fertilizer, and equipment. In parallel, innovations such as remote sensing and AI allow us to offer farmer insights on yield optimization and climate resilience. So, it's still early days to start making massive impact studies on what we're doing. But, we support these ecosystems, not just through technology, but through enabling access, capacity building, and inclusion. We're not only about systems and platforms, we're enabling transformation.
Okay. So, talking about, we'll just quickly conclude about the economic advantage. Have you come across any quantitative studies that have measured the impact? I'm specifically wanting to understand the benefits in long-term and mid-term aspects.
I haven't encountered in areas we're working on, but I know from recent sort of interactions in Ethiopia, India, for example, we're beginning to see that government-backed finance solutions with the finance houses, the banks, are making it possible for rural land titles to then enable the beneficiaries to start accessing loans. And I think that's the key part. Now that they're accessing credit, some of them are starting small businesses, some of them are improving their outputs in their farms, for example. So there is that, but I don't think there's been global study. There's case studies around some of them, but I don't think there's been a full study done on the economic empowerment in areas where we're working in.
All right. You bring your passion for land and land administration systems to Vastpoint, and that's also brings innovation aspect, right? So where innovation meets impact, in fact, that's the tagline for Vastpoint. What are some of the geospatial solutions Vastpoint is offering in the areas of land administration and property tax collection?
Yeah, our mantra is unlocking land, transforming lives. And that's the DNA of the company. But we try and simplify the complex. So whether it's large scale land demarcation or digital tax roll creation, for example, for properties, for property taxes, our solutions are generally practical, adaptable, and scalable. Especially we're working in resource constrained environments, lack of internet, power, all of these issues. So we've got to basically adapt. And I think while we offer full life cycle land administration, field surveys to land administration systems and tax systems, we're making sure that we can use these spatial analytics to drive revenue and financial stability for governments.
All right. So certainly, yes, land is something that is driven by governments traditionally as well, and even in the modern times. So, how proactive do you see the governments to these innovative practices right now across the world?
The land policies are governing how these national governments roll out their land administration. I think it's very early days for them to become sustainable through, let's put it this way, through revenue generating on their own. Especially because in most cases you're going into rural or poor neighborhoods, so rural land or poor neighborhoods in urban settings. So it's still the situation of where they're trying to navigate not only the realities of providing land security, but also looking at making sure they keep the vote as well. So I think, with governments, they want to give the titles because that is voter friendly, but they also want to make sure that the issue around economic benefits will probably be prolonged to later on when all of the people can be taxed or somehow generate revenue from the land on an annual basis.
True.
I think it's still early days.
All right.
Yeah.
Land is very foundational. We understand that, and also key for sustainable development. And is also this is one of the aspects that reflects in about 8 of the targets and 12 indicators of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Right. So, how is Vastpoint supporting sustainable development by delivering the solutions for end-to-end land administration cycles?
We're deeply aligned with the SDGs, particularly around land rights, gender equity, and poverty reduction. To date, we've helped governments issue over 1 million, land titles. And, we're proud of the fact that at least 50% of this has gone to women as well. In addition to that, we've trained over 20,000 local villages, equipping them with the knowledge and managing on how to manage land and benefit from participating in the formal economy around that. Furthermore, I think we're now approaching around 2 million hectares of land demarcated. So whilst we don't focus just on the numbers, we are very wary that we represent families, especially women with security, and communities, showing them pathways to prosperity. We're very aligned with SDGs, and we're an impact company, so we understand fully the ethos of impacting through what we do.
Okay, cool. Are there also any specific solutions that uses your proprietary technology for improving property tax collection?
Yeah, our property tax solutions are mostly for local government, and most of these are integrated to allow the municipalities to generate their own tax rolls, and more importantly, using spatial analytics to visualize the tax data, monitor collections, and optimize enforcement. Again, depending on the political will. But we do this in major cities or small rural councils as well. And I think by demystifying the whole concept of using valuations, by building AI models and what we call karma models into the system, we've allowed the interfaces to be more interactive, and we help the government shift from a dependence on being from grants or loans to becoming more self-reliant and revenue-based. And the world has changed this year with the shift in donor-based funding and grant-based funding as well. So governments are now looking at new funding models and how they become more sustainable.
Okay, cool. So you've been working for such a long time, and especially in this land administration system models. So would you like to talk about a recent project Vastpoint has successfully implemented with its state-of-art technology?
But I think our innovation lies in stability. Now, let me explain this in further to you. We're working in areas where power is reliable. Working in deep rural areas where internet access is limited. Sure, there's connectivity, but it is limited around it. So currently we're working in projects in Mozambique, Uganda, Ivory Coast, the Philippines, and even Cape Verde. Okay. To enable these, let's say, innovation in these projects that we're looking at, because most of them are mass scale projects as well, involving a lot of rural and local skills. We are now deploying disconnected mobile-enabled platforms, using locally trained teams and basically including communities in our rollout as well. Most of our employees are all from local communities in the areas we work, and we're deploying technology in their hands by making it very simple for them to use. So it's definitely not about the high-end tech. I think it's more about the appropriate tech that works for us, as long as we're getting measurable outcomes while creating local jobs and economic development.
Thank you so much for detailing that. Willy, you and the company you bring about, Vastpoint now, but previously Data World and Terra Analytics, you've been the founding members of WGIC and so aligned to the mission of advancing geospatial impact and fostering business opportunities. You're also part of the executive board, and you're also leading the project funding and sustainability committee as well. I want to understand, how has been your journey with WGIC so far?
WGIC is a rare space where competitors come together to collaborate. It's not seen in many sectors, and they're all united by a shared mission, which is to advance geospatial impact globally. In my role as whether it's the executive director or the chair of the finance and sustainable committee, I'm inspired daily by the dedication of fellow leaders who juggle their demanding executive roles while giving back to the industry. I think the structure of the WGIC fosters knowledge sharing, especially between private companies, academia, and the public sector. And that's what the future of geospatial needs.
And one of the aspects I want to understand from you as a founding member of WGIC is that on one side, the geospatial practice and the industry are witnessing very rapid changes with the geospatial systems themselves becoming very dynamic, complex, and interconnected. As a founding member, what do you envisage for the industry body, that is WGIC, moving forward and also make a very meaningful impact?
Yeah, definitely. We're seeing a surge of innovation in the geospatial world, especially using AI and Earth observation to tackle climate resilience, food security, and urbanization. For me, WGIC is poised to be this global convener, where it comes to guiding standards, encouraging investment, and building bridges between data providers, the innovators, and the policymakers. Our committee specifically leads on efforts on funding mechanisms. I see geospatial becoming in everyone for everyone. Oh, sorry, in
Mhm.
everything for everyone. And WGIC is at the heart of this transformation.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you so much for this conversation. It's lovely speaking with you, Willy.
You're most welcome, Banu, and thank you so much for the opportunity.
Great.